We're going to eat everything from fried scorpion to grilled chicken feet. We are in the world's biggest market and we are not holding back at all today. The best thing about this place is there are no tourist traps. There are no fake smiles or scams. First, he took a giant pot of boiling water, and then he started dropping in hundreds of these giant river prawns. Tripe is an acquired taste, but I love it. And this was soft, chewy, and well seasoned. I also got this plate of grilled chicken feet. They were soft and had a nice smoky flavor. They were crispy, savory, juicy, and a little bit sweet. I watched them cook the frogs fresh and then I tried one for myself. I'll admit, it was a little slimy, but it also had a unique chewy texture and a nice amount of juiciness. The inside was surprisingly clean. Most importantly, it had a great savory flavor. It had a decent crunch and the inside was a little dry. So I put some of this amazing chili powder on it. It's always fun when you bite into something and the flavors just explode in your mouth. And that's exactly what happened here. Crunchy, savory, juicy, spicy, sweet, and tangy, garlicky, all in one bite. It was so freaking good. I wish I could buy these by the bag and bring them home. I thought it would be gamey, but it wasn't. I almost felt bad eating it because it kind of looked like a little froggy car crash. But it was well worth it. This was so tender and juicy. It pulled apart so easily, and it had a nice smoky flavor. And wow, check out the size of this snake. This is a giant python and it eats rats. This guy had a different type of grilled rat. These were cooked to perfection and had a nice smoky flavor. They were soft, tender, and juicy. This had a nice amount of fat and protein. It had a smooth, creamy consistency and a decent amount of juiciness. I didn't see or feel any of the bones either. It was actually quite tasty. So good. I'm pretty sure this is a family recipe passed down for generations. You have to try it. This guy was making sugarcane juice. He cuts the tops, lights it on fire to remove the outer skin, and then puts it through a juicer. After squeezing the juice out, he pours it into a cup. This was sweet, a little bit grassy and earthy. I liked it. These are a little hard to eat though. These are boiled quail eggs. They kind of had a sour, salty flavor. This is grilled pork belly with noodles and fresh herbs. It comes with a dipping sauce that consists of fried garlic and spring onion. The pork was juicy, succulent, and well seasoned. The noodles were soft and chewy, and the fresh herbs gave it a nice contrasting, refreshing taste. Everything dipped in that rich, flavorful sauce was amazing. This was so good. I couldn't stop eating it. I wouldn't get them again, but it was nice to try. Inside was a bunch of chopped pork floss, corn, and potatoes. It was soft, cheesy, and topped with fried onions. It had a nice crunch and the inside was creamy. It was quite tasty. I would get it again. One bite of this and I knew I would never forget it. It's a crispy fried snack made with corn, potato, and cassava. But what makes it so special is it's covered with tiny ants. You might think this is disgusting, but trust me, it's actually really good. It's crunchy and the saltiness of the ants adds an amazing umami flavor. It tastes like nothing you have ever tried before. These things were so massive, easily the biggest shrimp I have seen in my life. Apparently, they get all of their customers from tourists, and most people don't realize this, but crickets are actually really good for you. They're high in protein, fiber, and iron. They're also very low in calories and fat, so it's basically like a perfect snack if you're trying to stay in shape. These guys were deep fried until they were nice and crispy, and I could not see nor feel any of the legs, so I ate it just like a chip. Surprisingly, they were very crunchy, and instead of having a chewy texture, they were more like a chip. The flavor was nice, but it wasn't anything crazy. I think what helped them achieve that crunchy texture was all of the flour that they were covered in. Now, before I show you the inside, I just want to give you a warning. The inside of a cricket is kind of slimy. I could see and feel all of the inside squishing around. So if that grosses you out, stop watching now. But I did it anyway. I picked the head off first and then sucked the insides out. It kind of had a sour tomatoey soup type flavor. Then I ripped the wings off and started chewing on them. It had a nice crunch and a decent flavor, kind of like a wing. It wasn't bad at all. As for the body, it had a nice chewiness to it and a decent amount of juiciness. And finally, there was the legs. These were crunchy, juicy, and had a great savory flavor. Overall, I am glad I got to try it, but I wouldn't be rushing to get another one. He also dropped in some smaller fish along with garlic, ginger, and green onion. This is what cooking looks like in Vietnam. Nothing fancy, just raw and authentic. Next, he added in some rice paper. And this is where he starts adding in his secret ingredients to give it that rich flavor. What an amazing broth this is. And after 20 minutes of simmering, it was ready to eat. This meal is called bun ryu, and it is one of my favorite dishes in the entire world. Just look at this feast. The chewy noodles combined with the flavorful broth and the juicy, succulent shrimp was absolute heaven. I wanted to slurp every last drop. Oh my gosh, I loved this. This dish is made with grilled pork floss and peanuts. And when they say pork floss, they mean actual pig floss. You can see all of those beautiful strands right there. The owner said it takes 8 hours to make just one batch. And I can tell you it was totally worth it because this was delicious. Crunchy, savory, and a little bit sweet. It was so good. I kept eating it even though I knew I would get a stomachache. Everyone here is just trying to make an honest living. I'm going to start with one of my favorite foods in the world, fresh coconut. It doesn't get better than this. Now, you have to be careful when choosing your coconut. You want to look for an even color all the way around and then give it a little shake. If you hear a bunch of liquid sloshing around, that means it's old and you don't want that. Then use your nose. Fresh coconuts will smell like sweet caramel. Look at this nice lady. She has been working here for 30 years, and she even taught me how to open a coconut. First, you put your straw right through the middle of the coconut. Then you start sipping on the water. The sweet caramel flavor really hits you right away. And then once you finish all the water inside, you take out your knife and you scrape the white part out. This is literally the best coconut I have ever tasted in my entire life. The owner of this noodle stand is cooking up something super special today. And speaking of stomachaches, check out this huge bowl of beef tripe. These guys have been selling fried crickets and scorpions here for 20 years. This woman was grilling up some bom reel. These are pork floss spring rolls and they were absolutely delicious. Now, you probably haven't heard of frog jumping, but it's actually a specialty here in Vietnam. If you ask any Vietnamese person what their favorite food is, they will say bun cha. Next, I grabbed an $8 whole deal. That's a whole deal. And last but not least, I got this $2.50 whole deal. The inside was packed with pork floss and corn, and that's all I got. Thanks for watching. See you next time.